2011. Every year I like to learn something new. Um, One of the things that's really interested me is Buddhism and the teachings of the Buddha. I know nothing about it, which is probably ironic because nothing is essential. Anyway, the Dhammapada. I don't even know if that's how you pronounce it. Introduction. The Dhammapada, a collection of 423 verses attributed to Gautama Buddha, has a venerable history, both in Asia and the West. It was the first complete Buddhist canonical text published in Europe in a critical edition with translation into Latin in 1855, and it has probably been translated into English and other European languages more frequently than any other Buddhist text. The Dhammapada's importance for Asian Buddhists over the course of more than 2 millennia is suggested by its inclusion in the scriptural collections of several Buddhist schools. In addition to the Pali language version, upon which this translation is based, similar collections survive in Sanskrit, Prakrit, Tibetan and Chinese. The Pali Dhammapada has long held a special status in the Sri Lankan Theravada Buddhist tradition. Monks commonly commit the whole text to memory during their monastic training and frequently base their sermons on its verse. The text title, Dhammapada, resists simple translation. Dharma, the Pali equivalent of the Sanskrit Dharma, is one of the most important terms in Buddhist tradition, and it bears a number of different but related connotations. It can refer to the fundamental truth about reality to which the Buddha awoke under the tree of enlightenment. Buddha is a title meaning one who has awoken. To the words through which he taught that truth to his followers, to the authoritative corpus of those teachings, and finally to the phenomena or constantly changing interdependent elements that form our experience. All of these related senses of the term appear in the Dhammapada's first chapter. See verse 1, in which all that we are, Dharma is the plural, is said to follow from our thoughts. Verse 5, where hatred's inability to end hatred is characterized as an old rule, Dhamma, the singular. And verse 20, where mere recitation of memorized text is distinguished from living fully in accordance with the law, Dhamma, singular, to which that text refers. Dhamma in the text title implies all of these things. The term pada at the end of the title likewise evokes multiple meanings. It can be translated path, verses, or words. One needn't choose among these, since the Dhammapada is a collection of words set in verse that present the Buddha's middle path to the realization of liberating truth. The Dhammapada is divided into 26 chapters, each loosely organized around a common theme. For example, the opening chapter, the twin verses, presents 10 sets of paired verses, each pair defining a set of contrasting behaviours or perspectives, along with a negative or positive outcome that each brings about. Thus, in the first 2 verses, evil thought leads to pain, while pure thought leads to happiness. In verses 13 and 14, passion penetrates an unreflecting mind, while a well-reflecting mind effectively repels it. These verses, like many others in the collection, give a palpable force to our abstract moral and cognitive states, the use of vivid images drawn from daily life. The plodding but inexorable progress of a bullock behind a plough, the inescapability of one's own shadow, and the inevitable leaking of a poorly thatched roof in a sudden rainstorm bring home the verses' message and effectively connect the reader in the present day with the world of ancient India and more than 2 millennia ago. There is, as well, much in this text that reminds of its distance from us. The world of Dhammapada is inhabited by powerful devas or gods, who live in an ascending hierarchy of celestial realms. Unlike the eternal creator God found in the Jewish and Christian Bibles, these gods are ultimately subject to death and rebirth. Prominent among them is Mara, the embodiment of death, and the endless rebound of rebirths. Who serves as the Buddha's nemesis. Yellow-robed mendicants are also frequently at hand. All the verses in the collection's penultimate chapter centre on the exemplary qualities and accomplishments of the bhikshus, B-H-I-K-S-H-U-S, bhikshus, ordained members of the Buddhist monastic community. The verses celebrate their self-control and utter detachment from sensual pleasures, along with their independence. At the same time, the beneficent effect on those around them comes through, as in verse 382, where a young monk who applies himself to the Buddhist teaching brightens up this world like the moon when freed from clouds. Finally, a brief note about the translator, Friedrich Max Muller, who produced the first complete English translation of the Dhammapada. He was a towering figure in the world of 19th century scholarship on India and the religions of Asia, and is considered one of the founders of the modern discipline of comparative religion. Convinced that a systematic and rigorous comparison of the world's diverse religious traditions will provide the foundation for a true form of religion, he translated numerous Indian religious texts and edited the monumental Sacred Books of the East, in which his translation appeared. Kevin Trainer, the University of Vermont. Thanks for listening. Until I am awake, I take refuge in the three jewels: the Buddha, Sangha, and the Dharma. Alright.